York is one of the UK's leading tourism destinations, a city rich in history, charm and heritage. Each year, over 9 million visitors pour into its streets, contributing more than £1 billion to the local economy. On the surface, York is often seen as an affluent city, but beneath that postcard-perfect image lies a more complex reality. As demand for visitor accommodation grows, so too does housing precarity for many low-income residents. It's a side of York that often goes unseen. Good organisation was born out of a simple idea, that the benefits of York's thriving visitor economy should be shared more fairly, especially with the city's most marginalised communities.
Our journey began back in 2018 when there was a 40% spike in rough sleeping across the city. It was a stark reminder that not everyone was sharing in the city's prosperity. Around the same time, a close neighbour sold her house. It was snapped up by someone who only planned to stay for a couple of months each year, turning it to holiday let. Soon after, another house on my street was converted into an Airbnb. These changes sparked an informal conversation between myself, Natasha, and another director of a good organisation called Nigel, about how we could harness York's booming tourism industry to benefit those being left behind. From that simple question, the idea of good organisation was born, a social enterprise dedicated to making tourism work for everyone, not just visitors. Our first project was developed in partnership with Invisible Cities and invited people affected by homelessness to develop and deliver their own walking tours.
Hi, I'm Miles. I run the Health and Wealth Tour for Invisible York here. I was approached about 5 years ago by Kenny in the Good Organisation. Was I interested in becoming a tour guide? But write your own tour, script it, decide your topic, and we will support you, and we will coach you, we will mentor you through how to research it, how to practice it, how to deliver it. Took me about 3 months to sort of pull my ideas together and pull the theme that I wanted to do, because I didn't want the tour to be something that was just scripted and not bespoke. I picked buildings that associated around wealth and associated around health, and I also blend that into what it's like living in the city when you've experienced homelessness, which was at that time I was homeless. So the opportunity provided by Kenny was a lifeline for me. I'm grateful for that. Still continue to do them to this date, not as often as I'd like to, but just life has moved on from there. But I'm always grateful for the opportunity that Kenny does. So if you're ever offered this chance to write your own tour, become a tour guide, grab it. Definitely made a difference for me, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
The tours were a great success and added something truly special, an authentic human perspective to York's array of walking tours. Today, Invisible York tours are featured in Time Out magazine's top 20 things to do in York, boasting a 5-star rating on TripAdvisor.
Building on that success, we expanded our work in creative ways. In 2019, we launched a photography project, giving high-quality cameras to rough sleepers to capture heritage sites beyond the usual tourist hotspots. When COVID-19 hit, the photographers kept hold of their cameras and documented the impact of the lockdown on the city. Like many others, we had to adapt quickly. During lockdown, we collaborated with homeless individuals to create our first GPS audio tour, ensuring their stories could still be heard even when face-to-face tours weren't possible. We also brought together local artists and people experiencing homelessness to design and produce a range of co-created souvenirs, including t-shirts which we sold online. These projects not only helped us to navigate the financial challenges of the pandemic, but also strengthen community ties. Participants even produced fundraising t-shirts for local authorities, reinforcing Good Organisation's role as a catalyst for social change. To date, much of our work has focused on creating skill development opportunities for marginalised groups, but as we've grown, so too is our role as advocates, raising awareness of how tourism can deepen wealth inequality, while championing a more inclusive community-focused approach. We are now at a pivotal point as we transition into a stronger advocacy role.
Funded through the Institute of Social Justice and supported by York St John's University, Good Organisation undertook their first significant piece of community-led research into York tourism, impacts, and community-led solutions. The research draws on analysis of industry reports relating to sustainable and community-led and community-based tourism, questionnaire data, community conversations, and interviews, and provided a deeper insight into residents' perspectives and solutions. One of the recommendations from the research was that residents have representation on York's Tourism Advisory Board. Good Organisation have been invited to sit on the board and have set up York Residents Know, a citizen-led group championing a fairer, more balanced approach to tourism. The core team of volunteers are now trained in participatory research and are currently in the process of organising a range of opportunities to capture residents' views and ideas to achieve a more balanced approach. We would like you to meet some of the team, find out why they got involved and what they have found out.
Hi, I'm Simon Woodward. I've been involved with York Residents Know for a few months now. I've spent most of my career working in tourism development, many parts of the world, and wanted to put that professional expertise to use in what's been my home city for many years now. I'm very conscious of the impact that tourism has on a destination, and therefore very keen to get involved with this initiative to see how we can make sure that tourism in York can be used as a tool for leveraging benefits for local people, so that it not only becomes a nice city to visit, but it becomes a great place for people to live in. So that's why I'm here, that's why I'm involved.
So I got involved because I have a history and heritage and I have a background in this, and I always wanted to focus more on the public good and how we could use heritage spaces and encourage positive tourism and ecotourism. So I got involved from that aspect. And so today we've set up to get a randomised amount of people in the public on a Monday in the afternoon, and we've set up a stall and just asked people, anyone that we see, and we've asked them different information. So we asked what areas do they usually avoid or what areas do they usually go to, and with a good visual here, clear visual aids, after we explained what we're doing, why we're doing it. We combated also quite strong winds. We also had a tree, which your ideas for a shared city, build it together, and then just had a big space where we could write down all the information, or they could write down the information of positive and negatives of tourism and what changes we want to see. What I've learned from doing this is that it's a really good way to get people's opinion, people just out and about, and to just get their feelings in that moment is really important. And also people who are quite positive about tourism tend to be tourists themselves, people who are quite negative about tourism, and a lot of it is to do with accessibility. Problems such as lack of access to toilets and parking tend to be something that is recurring, and challenges around the busy seasons for tourism. And the positives are our heritage. They're the most positive thing that people tend to bring up, and how beautiful the city is and how the high street is still thriving and still has some local businesses compared to other cities around the north.
I was very pleased to get involved with York Residents Know, because I feel as though it's important that local voices are heard, and I wanted to have an influence in terms of shaping policy and getting to know people's opinions about their views on tourism in York. I thought it was a good idea to hear different voices in terms of people from different ages, different genders, different ethnicities, to sort of get a whole view on the issues around tourism. And it's good to have representation and to have that feeding into shaping developments going forward in terms of tourism in York. It's got a number of positives, obviously, and those positives are around bringing tourists into the city to create wealth in terms of spend and create employment, but there are obvious downsides in terms of the volume and the impact on house prices in terms of the growth of Airbnb. So it's a whole complex mixed picture that's happening at the moment, and we just need, as a community, to have a conversation around what is happening and how that can be taken forward and developed, so that everyone has an opportunity to have their views and opinions heard.
And finally, in addition to our research in York, we also undertake similar research elsewhere, including a small social action project in Greenland. This is a collaboration between Good Organisation, the University of York School of Archaeology, University of Greenland Centre for Arctic Welfare, and 8 individuals with lived experience of homelessness in Nuuk. This project is exploring how climate change and cruise tourism are reshaping life in Greenland. The project is looking at both the challenges and the opportunities. Can this tourism sector help tackle social exclusion in a country where 1% of the population is homeless or at risk of experiencing homelessness? Together, the collaboration are seeking new ways forward, grounded in community insight and lived experience.